Welcome to the Deep Dive. We know trying to keep up with the weekly flood of technical news, especially something like Andrew Kagan's Digest, which we're looking at today, can feel, well, relentless.
It's a lot. Too much info coming way too fast sometimes.
Exactly. So our job here is to give you that curated shortcut. We want to pull out the really important shifts happening, in the Microsoft world and the tech around it. And the big theme we're seeing this week, it's this massive convergence. AI isn't just some add-on anymore.
Yeah,
It's collapsing right into the basic infrastructure. And that's forcing big changes in how things operate. Plus, this huge push on security that's looking way ahead. It all seems to circle around this agentic AI idea.
That's right. And for you, the listener, we're going to move pretty quickly through 8 different areas today, everything from Azure basics up to quantum physics.
Right.
But the real point is seeing how it all connects. We're not just listing announcements. We're looking at the why. Why these decisions, why these updates matter for your job now, or, where your career might be heading.
Okay, let's unpack that architecture then, starting right where it all lives, Azure. The cloud platform's clearly getting tuned for this new world of autonomous systems. Two things really jumped out on simplification and plugging AI straight in.
Yeah, the first one is Azure Kubernetes Service Automatic, AKS Automatic. Look at the phrasing they used. Fast and frictionless Kubernetes for all.
Kubernetes, container orchestration. It's powerful, but notoriously tricky, right? Lots of operational overhead for developers, for IT teams.
Exactly, it's complex.
So this AKS Automatic is Microsoft basically taking away the pain of managing the cluster.
Right.
Like the patching, the scaling, setting up the control plane, all that.
Precisely. They're removing that barrier to entry for one of the most powerful infrastructure tools out there. It's kind of like, imagine going from digging your garden by hand to suddenly having this automatic robot gardener.
Okay.
The work's still happening underneath, but you're not doing the hard manual bit. And that frees up developable time, which, let's face it, is the most expensive resource.
And what are those developers now with more time going to use? Well, the other thing we saw, immediate specialized AI tools, like the Azure AI Translator API hitting public preview. And it's right inside the Azure AI Foundry. This isn't some third-party thing bolted on. It's like a core utility now.
That's the whole strategy, you see. AKS Automatic makes the infrastructure easier to manage, more people use it, and boom, right there, they have easy access to high-value AI tools like the translator. It makes sure the foundation and the AI grow together.
Okay, so that brings us to where this hits the average user, like day-to-day. Microsoft 365, headlines everywhere. Office apps now get free Copilot chat.
That's huge. I mean, potentially millions of users getting basic AI help right inside Word, Excel.
Yeah, a massive expansion. But convenience always comes with a security question mark, doesn't it?
Always. And that's exactly why the Digest also highlighted 2 really foundational security controls you need to manage. First one we should talk about is Microsoft LAPS, Local Administrator Password Solution.
LAPS. It's like Security Basics 101, but maybe more important than ever. It handles rotating those local admin passwords on machines, the ones that are usually static and complex.
Right.
Why is it more critical now with Copilot?
Well, think about it. Every time you add a massive new way for users to interact, like Copilot, you're expanding the potential attack surface.
Right.
So if an account gets compromised, the attacker still needs higher privileges to really move around the network. LAPS makes getting those local admin rights much, much harder because the password keeps changing. It's a fundamental defense layer that's just non-negotiable when AI is opening up more doors.
And the other warning was really specific. A security risk linked to a certain Microsoft interest setting. The Digest said it could put your Microsoft 365 at risk. That's basically direct call to action. Go check your settings.
Absolutely. Audit your identity and access configs. You've got to keep that security convenience balance in check.
Definitely.
Though, just as a quick side note, kind of lighter, the Digest also mentioned the ongoing saga of product naming. SharePoint Premium got rebranded again.
Oh, really? Again?
Seems even Microsoft's internal names feel the churn from all this change.
Okay, moving from productivity into pure automation. Power Platform and Dynamics 365.
Yeah.
This is that low-code, high-impact zone where these AI agents seem to be really taking shape.
Yeah, you're seeing more advanced stuff trickle down to citizen developers, like the preview of DAX user-defined functions for Power BI.
DAX UDFs. What does that mean for analysts?
It means they can build complex, reusable calculations, little analytical macros almost. You build that logic once, embed it in your data model, and reuse it. It's about creating repeatable IP right there in the data.
That's empowering. But the really big structural shift here feels like the rise of the agent. The digest connected understanding Microsoft agents with this computer use in Microsoft Copilot Studio Public Preview.
Exactly.
So the low-code platform is becoming a hub for autonomous AI.
That's the direction. An AI agent, remember, is a system that can plan and then carry out tasks using external tools. But to do that reliably, especially at scale, it needs a common way to talk to those tools and data sources.
Yeah.
And that common language is the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
Ah, MCP. The digest mentioned unlocking MCP server, AI integration for Dataverse and Dynamics 365. So what is MCP, really? How does it enable this agent stuff?
Think of MCP as the standardized plumbing, like a universal power outlet. Before MCP, maybe every AI model needed custom wiring to plug into Dataverse or a specific Dynamics tool.
Right, bespoke connections.
MCP provides that standard plug, the protocol. So any AI model that follows the MCP standard can reliably, securely connect to external data, tools, services without needing unique code for every single interaction. It's what lets these agents actually do things across the board.
Got it. Okay, speaking of code, let's pivot to DevOps and SRE. If Power Platform is getting agent-friendly, how's the core software engineering world adapting?
This is where getting the terms right is really important for developers. We need to distinguish AI agents from agentic AI.
Hey, what's the difference?
Agentic AI is kind of the higher level capability. It refers to systems that can autonomously plan a sequence of steps to reach a goal. They don't just do one thing. They figure out the steps, use tools along the way, guided by some sort of planning loop. It's more sophisticated than just executing a single command.
And this agentic AI capability is leading to new ways of working, like prompt-driven development. The digest mentioned using AI to refactor code bases with prompt-driven development.
Exactly. That suggests a shift. Maybe we're not writing every line of code ourselves anymore, especially for big restructuring tasks. Instead, we're guiding the process, using prompts to tell an agentic AI what we want restructured and why.
So the developer role is changing from pure coder to maybe more of a guide or orchestrator.
I think that's a good way to put it. We'll likely spend less time on boilerplate code and more time defining the goal, checking the AI's plan, making sure the refactoring actually achieves what it needs to efficiently. This change in methodology, it might be the biggest long-term shift happening in software engineering right now.
Wow. Okay, let's move to the engine room then. Data, analytics, and AI. This section seemed packed. It's where all the power comes from. Microsoft's launching its own LLMs, yes. But the real buzz seems to be around the economics.
That's the crucial part. The game changer mentioned was Microsoft's new AI framework, designed specifically for reasoning models at lower cost.
Lower cost reasoning. Why is that so important?
Because the biggest barrier to using AI everywhere in an enterprise isn't usually capability anymore. It's the cost of running these huge models, especially for everyday tasks. It burns through compute, which burns through money.
So the race isn't just about having the biggest, most powerful model. It's shifting to who can offer models that are smart enough to reason through a problem effectively, but without the massive overhead, cheaper intelligence.
Precisely. Efficient reasoning. That's the key to making AI practical and scalable across the entire business. And managing all the data needed for this. That's where Microsoft Fabric comes in.
Right, Fabric, the unified data platform. It was highlighted specifically for Fabric real-time intelligence for AI-driven operations.
Yeah, Fabric makes sure these potentially cheaper, more efficient reasoning models can actually get unified access to all the data they need to function. Which, naturally, brings us to the defense side. Security, compliance, and privacy. We have to protect all this.
Definitely. So what's happening on the security front to keep up?
Well, a key expansion is in Microsoft Sentinel's UEBA capabilities. User and Entity Behavior Analytics.
UEBA. That's about spotting unusual activity, right? Like a digital tripwire.
Exactly. It learns what's normal for users and systems, login times, data access patterns, stuff like that, that flags anomalies immediately. Someone logging in from a weird place, accessing files they never touch. Could be an insider threat, could be a compromised account.
And the threats themselves are getting futuristic. The digest mentioned an article, From Quantum Hacks to AI Defenses, Building Cyber Resilience.
Yeah, security teams have this dual challenge now. Use today's AI to fight off current attacks while also starting to prepare for the day when quantum computers might just break all our current encryption. It's a theoretical threat for now, but one you have to plan for.
Wow. Okay, and tying back to Fabric and all that unified data.
We saw Microsoft Purview innovations for Fabric data security and governance. Purview is the governance toolset. Integrating it deeply with Fabric is essential. You need strict rules about who or what agent can access and process data, especially when it's all brought together like that.
Right. Okay, so for you, the learner listening in, this next bit points directly at skills you might need to develop. What stood out?
Well, there was the new Copilot People connector, which means learning how to use that effectively. But the really interesting, maybe more complex detail was about tool space interference in the MCP era.
Tool space interference. That sounds complicated.
Yeah.
If MCP is the standard plug for agents using tools, what's the interference?
Okay, think of it like air traffic control for AI agents. If you've got, say, 10 different autonomous agents, all following the MCP standard,
Yeah.
and they all try to access and maybe change the same customer record in Dynamics 365 at the exact same time. Or they all try to use some external service that has limits on how often it can be called.
Clash. Conflict.
Exactly, that's tool space interference. It's not a bug in the code of one agent, it's a conflict between these autonomous processes fighting over shared resources or tools.
So the new skills,
Yeah.
they're less about debugging one piece of code and more about designing the whole system, setting priorities, managing how these agents interact, handling resource contention.
That's a huge part of it. It's moving towards managing complex, interacting systems. It's really the next frontier in AI administration, I think.
Profound shift. Okay, finally, let's look at the big picture. The broader industry trends that seem to confirm we're really heading down this agentic path.
The scientific progress is just staggering. We saw the announcement of the first quantum computer powered by a silicon chip.
On silicon, that's a big deal for manufacturing and scaling, right? Makes it feel less like a pure lab experiment.
Absolutely. It's a critical engineering milestone towards making quantum computing more practical.
We also saw Google DeepMind claiming an historic AI breakthrough. And importantly, this isn't just research papers. There's real investment. The Maryland governor and Microsoft are teaming up on a quantum research center at the University of Maryland.
That kind of institutional commitment, especially a major tech company partnering with a top university, shows serious long-term belief in where both quantum and AI, especially agentic AI, are headed.
And speaking of that agentic shift, the industry's already reflecting on it.
Yeah.
The digest mentioned pieces like 1 year of agentic AI, 6 lessons, and thinking about agentic AI at scale. Superhuman workforce management.
Yeah, superhuman workforce management, that phrase really captures it. It's not just theory anymore, it's the direction global companies are planning for. It pulls everything we've discussed together.
It really does. It connects back perfectly, like you said. The simpler Azure infrastructure,
Yeah.
MCP standardizing tool access, those cheaper reasoning models making it economically viable, new ways for developers to work, all pointing towards this future workforce. Okay, that was a whirlwind tour through a really packed week of news. Let's try and boil it down. 3 big takeaways for you, the listener. First, AI innovation. It's now sharply focused on cost-effective reasoning, making AI smart and affordable for enterprise scale. It's not just about big, it's about efficient intelligence.
Right.
Second, security is playing catch-up and looking ahead simultaneously, expanding into things like UEBA for current threats while prepping for future quantum risks.
Definitely.
And third, the whole underlying tech stack, from Azure getting simpler to Power Platform embracing MCP, is fundamentally changing shape to enable this massive shift towards autonomous agentic AI.
And if we pull that all together, it really raises a key question for you to think about. Given that the whole industry seems to be moving pretty fast towards agentic AI at scale, how should you start preparing? Whether it's your organization or just your own personal workflow, how do you get ready for a future where lots of automated tasks aren't done by simple scripts, but by these autonomous AI agents making decisions, using tools, and maybe even running into that tool space interference?
That's the new challenge, isn't it? Managing that complexity.
It really is. That's the new frontier.
Absolutely. Definitely something to chew on. Start thinking about that interference, maybe check on those LAPS updates, and we will catch you next time for another deep dive.